Good, happy Tuesday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, so let's get started. First up, man accused of shooting bishop. Bride waives arrangement. Dale Holloway, 37, faces charges including attempted murder. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
Holloway is accused of entering the New England Pentecostal Church in Pelham Saturday morning and shooting Bishop Stanley Choate in the chest. A bullet also hit the bride, Claire McMullen, in the arm. And officials say Holloway also hit the groom, Mark Castiglione, over the head with a gun before Holloway was subdued by parishioners. While officials haven't commented on a motive, they do say that Holloway is the stepson of 60-year-old Louis Garcia, who was shot and killed inside Castiglione's Londonderry home 2 weeks ago. Castiglione's son, Brandon, has been charged with the murder. The bride and groom have been released from the hospital. At last check, the bishop was still in serious condition. Holloway's arraignment is scheduled for 1:30 this afternoon here at Superior Court in Nashua. Reporting live, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. We want to show you this investigation that WMUR News 9 Amy Cavino did. We showed you this investigation this morning in our morning broadcast, and we want to show you it again. If you did not watch our morning broadcast this morning, we want to show you this great investigation that Amy Cavino did. She did a wonderful job, and I hope you enjoy watching her investigation. Here's Amy Cavino from WMUR News 9 on this investigation. Accused of domestic violence multiple times, man now charged with murder. Cases raises questions in one county's justice system. Let's take a listen.
On July 23rd, a 911 dispatcher took a desperate call from a woman in Manchester begging for help. Police arrived in minutes. It was too late.
Jennifer Burpee was dead. Her alleged killer, Damian Cease, was found hiding in the bathroom.
Investigators say she was beaten to death with a piece of furniture. Cease is now charged with second-degree murder.
News 9 Investigates uncovered Cease's lengthy, escalating criminal record and more on the murder victim who predicated her own death a year before it happened.
WMUR's Amy Cavino follows the paper trail to a tragic ending that is now driving change.
Covered 708, stage for PD. Assault.
A desperate call to 911 from this apartment high-rise in Manchester.
PD's on scene, step it up. Female down, bleeding.
Every available unit in the city dispatched to respond.
Miss Burpee was deceased, lying just inside the doorway of her apartment.
The alleged killer, Damian Cease, was found hiding in the bathroom. Manchester police take Cease into custody again. They've arrested Cease 6 times since 2016, twice for domestic violence charges that involved Jennifer Burpee. A third alleged assault against Burpee was investigated in August 2016. According to police, witnesses said they saw Cease kneeling on Burpee, punching her. September 1st, Burpee tells police she does not want to press charges. The case was closed. July 18th, 2017, another alleged attack here on Riverwalk Way. Burpee told the responding officer, "He's going to kill me." Cease was arrested. The charges were dropped the day he was set to go to trial because the victim was uncooperative. October 29th, 2018, another alleged assault. The affidavit describes a fight over alcohol. Then Cease allegedly strangles Burpee, leaving marks on her neck. According to police reports, Cease said, "I will murder you, I will bury you, and no one will ever find out." The charges were dropped this time by the county attorney's office in February. 5 months later, Jennifer Burpee was dead.
Domestic violence is inherently a very volatile situation.
News 9 Investigates obtained hundreds of court documents and police records for Damian Cease. The file is vast and reveals that at the time of every single alleged domestic assault on Jennifer Burpee, Cease was on parole from a 2011 assault of a corrections officer. News 9 obtained the audio file from a parole hearing in 2018. The recording reveals Cease has never received treatment for alcohol. The parole officer recommends residential treatment. Quote, "Hopefully a program would give him a foundation," end quote.
Pretty passive and laid back disposition when I'm sober. But when I drink, it's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde. Tenfold.
So you know you can't drink.
In letters written to the court, Cease describes being raped when he was just 5 years old and watching his mother battered on a regular basis. At times, he expresses deep remorse for his actions, writing, "I am ashamed of myself." A handwritten note on court paperwork in 2017 states Cease was being evaluated by mental health, citing significant mental health issues. But court records don't indicate if Cease participated in or received any type of treatment while incarcerated or while out on parole. Damian Cease has been before the state parole board 4 times since 2011. July 2017, an alleged assault on Jennifer Burpee. Parole board sent Cease back to prison for 30 days. January 2018, the parole board sent Cease back for 30 days after a burglary conviction in Manchester. December 2018, the parole board sent Cease back again after being charged with assaulting a police officer. The parole officer tells the board that Cease has
essentially been homeless the entire time he's been on supervision. He generally camps out in a tent in Manchester, various locations, so he doesn't have anywhere to go.
News 9 was there when Cease appeared before the parole board in August for yet another revocation hearing.
On July 23rd, 2019, according to Manchester Police, Cease assaulted his girlfriend Jennifer repeatedly, which resulted in her death at her residence located on Amory Street in Manchester.
News 9 Investigates attempted to obtain parole board records about Damian Cease. Our request was denied. The records are confidential. The chair, Donna Sytek, declined our request for an interview. The Hillsborough County Attorney's Office came under fire after attorney Michael Conlon admitted he was not aware a prosecutor in his office dropped strangulation and second-degree assault and criminal threatening charges against Damian Cease months before Jennifer Burpee was murdered.
Our experiences with the county attorney's office over the last year or so have just been horrible. Our cases are not being handled appropriately.
We would expect that a county attorney with a case like that should be in the loop, should know what's going on within his office.
Conlon had been in office 1 month before the charges were dropped.
And in this particular case, we have the unfortunate circumstance of not just a victim who was unwilling to participate, but who had recanted as to the facts of the incident.
Did the justice system fail Jennifer Burpee?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I want to answer that.
In early September, the New Hampshire Attorney General's office took over control of the Hillsborough County Attorney's office. Michael Conlon retains his title of county attorney, but the AG's office has assumed all criminal prosecutions in the county.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report in that investigation from WMUR News 9, Amy Cavino. Plane runs off Lebanon airport runway. No major injuries reported. Emergency crews respond to incident. No major injuries were reported after a small plane ran off a runway, Lebanon Municipal Airport on Tuesday afternoon, according to authorities. FAA officials said the Lucascomb 8F aircraft stopped at the edge of the safety area after it veered off a runway as it was landing. Multiple emergency response crews responded to the scene. The pilot was the only person on board, officials said. This is a developing story. Stay tuned for updates. Active shooter training available for any New Hampshire house of worship. Site of shooting at church in Pelham had recently taken part in active shooter training. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Gene Mackin.
Well, Tom, the New Hampshire Council of Churches offers the training, and tonight says you don't have to be a Christian church. Any synagogue, mosque, house of worship can reach out for training.
It was chilling news, a shooting at a church where they recently held active shooter training.
Using that training well, that they were able to tackle and subdue the attacker. That's the kind of thing we'd be encouraging our churches to do.
The New Hampshire Council of Churches, which represents 400 congregations, says New England Pentecostal Ministries is not a member, but that doesn't matter. The Council of Churches is helping any house of worship prepare for the worst, working with New Hampshire Homeland Security and Emergency Management to offer active shooter training, like this session at a Manchester church, and it tends to pack the pews.
We've actually been in conversation with many of the synagogues and mosques in our state who have similar concerns. We have offered active shooter trainings around the state already. We will do that again.
This faith community preaches and teaches to spot trouble and intervene. It does not promote arming the congregation.
One thing that we've always been clear on through the council is that adding more guns to a situation makes it less safe. We want that, and we want people to be able to resolve those questions of feeling safe, but also not feeling like they're worshiping in a fortress.
And the Council of Churches says the training also helps congregations handle other emergencies that are more likely to happen, like a fire or a medical issue. Monica.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. State Littleton can leave hospital group under conditions. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
State officials say Littleton Regional Hospital can leave an affiliation meant to cut costs and keep health care accessible to rural communities. The Attorney General's office says the hospital will have to pay a fee of at least $2.5 million and add services to its facility. That will allow it to leave the North Country Healthcare Collaborative, which was created back in 2015. Littleton Regional was its largest member.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Elizabeth Warren unveils plan to get big money out of politics. Massachusetts Senator proposes public financing as part of plan. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren on Tuesday unveiled a plan for getting big money out of politics, which includes expand disclosure and a ban on allowing federal candidates to take corporate political action committee money. Harris campaign launches New Hampshire Woman for Kamala coalition. Campaign says a 100-member group will expand in coming months. Ahead of Tuesday night's Democratic presidential debate in Ohio, California Senator Kamala Harris's campaign is launching a New Hampshire Woman for Kamala coalition of support. The campaign says view her as a champion for women and children. Super PAC to hit Democratic presidential candidates on gun issue during debate. Protect Freedom PAC plans TV ad. A conservative Super PAC will broadcast a television ad during Tuesday night debate on CNN, accusing the Democratic presidential candidates of coming for our guns. Former congressional primary foes endorse Mesmer for executive council. They competed in 2018, but now 8 Democrat former 1st District U.S. House candidates are joining to endorse Mindy Mesmer, who finished 3rd in that primary in her bid for the District 3 Executive Council seat. And CNN and the New York Times Democratic debate in Ohio is this evening. When and where is the debate? The debate is being held at Otterbein University in Westerville, a suburb of Columbus. It's scheduled to begin at 8 p.m. Eastern Time Tuesday and is being co-hosted by CNN and the New York Times. It will be moderated by CNN anchors Anderson Cooper and Erin Burnett and Times national editor Mark. And 12 candidates will be on the stage. We're having a little technical difficulties. Give me 1 minute. We needed to refresh the page, so just give me 1 minute, everyone. Sorry about that. The 12 candidates are Joe Biden, Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, Julian Castro, Tulsi Gabbard, Kamala Harris, Amy Klobuchar, Beto O'Rourke, Bernie Sanders, Tom Steyer, Elizabeth Warren, and Andrew Yang. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Tuesday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you for this Tuesday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the red and went down. U.S. 10-year closed in the green and went up. Euro/USD closed in the red and went down. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Dow surges more than 200 points, closes back above 27,000 as JP Morgan surges on earnings. Stocks closed sharply higher on Tuesday as the corporate earnings season got off to a strong start. Governor Chris Sununu. Today's job report is good news for New Hampshire families and future endeavors that our economy is strong and the Granite State is heading to the right direction thanks to our income tax-free, business-friendly environment. 850 new jobs created in the last month. A look at the fourth Democratic presidential debate. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
And guys, as you know, a whole lot has happened since the last debate ABC News hosted in Houston. But tonight, it all goes down again. The fourth debate is going to be hosted by CNN and the New York Times, with 12 Democratic presidential candidates taking the stage at Otterbein University in Westerville, Ohio. And our Rachel Scott is already on the ground there in the spin room. Rachel, good to see you. I feel like the conversation is going to be very different tonight with these impeachment proceedings hanging in the balance.
Yeah, good to see you as well, Kimberly. Yes, I mean, the impeachment proceedings have dominated the conversation in Washington. And the big question tonight is, will it dominate the conversation on that debate stage? We know that this is the first debate since that impeachment inquiry was launched. We also know that every single candidate, all 12 of the candidates on the stage tonight, do support the impeachment inquiry. And another wild card will be, will Joe Biden have to be on the defense tonight? Joe Biden will tell you himself, he said it over the weekend in Iowa, that he believes he is the reason why this impeachment inquiry was launched in the first place. We know at the center of it was the president's call with the Ukrainian president, in which he repeatedly urged him to investigate corruption, and Joe Biden and his son, who had business dealings abroad while his father served as vice president. And so the question tonight, and the big wild card, right, is whether or not his Democratic rivals attack him on that, on whether or not it was appropriate for his son to have those dealings. I caught up with Joe Biden over the weekend. I asked him why his son is just now deciding to step down from the board of a Chinese-backed company. He again denied any wrongdoing and said if he is elected as president, no one in his family will work with a foreign entity or even have an office in the White House. Kimberly?
Yeah, that's definitely, I can definitely see that being a part of the conversation. Something else that's a little bit of a change, it was 10 last time and 2 more people this time on that stage, Tom Steyer and Tulsi Gabbard making her way back. How do you think that's going to impact things?
Yeah, that's right. This is a presidential primary history here. This is the largest that we've seen on a debate stage. 12 people on one stage. And the challenge for these candidates is how does your message break through? Especially if you're a candidate that's struggling in the polls, how does your message break through with that many candidates on one stage? I asked Senator Kamala Harris about that in Iowa this weekend, and she said that will certainly be hard tonight. It's hard to discuss serious issues, she says, when you only have 1 minute and 15 seconds to answer. And so that will be the task of the candidates on the stage tonight, especially those that are not doing so well in the polls. They will have to convince voters that their vision for America is better than some of the leading frontrunners in this race, Kimberly.
All right, Rachel Scott already there in the spin room. Thank you for the preview.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And I will have pre-coverage of the debate before the debate begins at 8 p.m. on CNN. Join me for my pre-coverage at 7 p.m. this evening. And that does it for this evening broadcast of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and bye, everyone.